And Berrios is $5 million. So
I'm taking that $15 million and I'm trading for DeAndre Hopkins. Him opposite Garrett Wilson with Rodgers throwing the football. Super Bowl champion New York Jets. Let's go. 3 moves. That's all we need. That's all we need. Trade for Hopkins. Trade for Rodgers. Extend Quinnen Williams. Done.
We're playing Madden all of a sudden.
Why can't that happen?
Go for it. Hey, let's be all in.
All the reports I'm reading are saying that the Cardinals are at best might get like a 3rd round pick for him. You wouldn't do that?
Go for it. Go all in.
You wouldn't do it.
He wants to do contract though too, prime time.
Yep.
We're gonna have no lines. We got Aaron Rodgers and we got.
Do you guys realize how much? Do you guys realize how much cap space the Jets have next year? Right now, at this moment, they have 112. You get rid of guys like Conklin, Uzama, Tomlinson. They can have upwards of like a
2023. 2024 they do. 2023 they don't. How are you gonna get them all this year?
And you can structure deals. You can defer both. Like there's
ways to structure all the bonus money. Right now. He's selling his soul.
I am. I
Aaron Rodgers going to retire 1 year. We're going to be stuck with all these contracts and a bad team.
I am all in. Rodgers, D-Hop. Let's do it.
Listen, I've never heard Primetime talk like this because at the end of the day, Primetime, the one thing I would never thought I would ever hear you say is you want to get rid of players. We said to replace those players of equal or better value, Primetime.
No.
I've never thought you would say nothing like that, bro. I'm lost right now.
You get Rodgers, you get Hopkins, that offense is flying. We're finally with the times. All these conversations we've been having year after year of having a functional offense that meets today's NFL standard, that does it.
Somebody tell Primetime that Aaron Rodgers is not 31 years old. Does anybody realize that?
Good. I've never heard him talk like this before. Primetime is saying, cut.
I'm tired average, dude. I can't do any more rebuilds. Dude, look at the last 3 free agent classes. I know we've had this talk every week, but like DJ Reed and then what else? DJ Reed and what else? So we're saving all this money to invest in what? All these draft picks. I get it. Last year, great class. First 2, what do we have? So this is the perfect time to go all in. You have your one draft class that you can depend on for the next 3 to 4 years, making absolutely nothing. You have nobody that you need to pay from your first draft class. AVT still under contract for the next 3 years with his 5th-year option. Who do you have to pay that's on your roster? If anything, you're getting rid of all these bad contracts. There's nobody that you have to pay.
Go for it. I'm not. Listen.
After Quinnen, you have nothing on this roster you have to pay. Go get Rodgers. Go get Hopkins. Trade all the picks. Give me a fucking chance to win. What's up, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed their Memorial Day weekend. Some nice weather. Hopefully, some nice barbecuing as well. Quick video here, some news, notes, and rumors. First, I guess Quinnen Williams and the Jets apparently are close on a contract, according to Costello and a few other reports out there. Read into that what you will, but I do think a deal is going to get done at some point before training camp. It doesn't make sense for either side to want to drag this out. Excited to see, once that's done, what kind of money the Jets have left over as far as how's the deal structured and what they could allocate towards some other positions. Clearly, they have a need for another linebacker, as we've talked about Quan Alexander, numerous times on this show over the past couple weeks. Definitely, I think, still a need at safety as well. At least somebody that has a little bit more range and can cover a little bit. And then you look at the wide receiver position, which has been talked about the last couple days. And is it the biggest need that you have? Probably not. Although I'll continue to say that I think there was a reason that they were willing to pay Odell Beckham so much money. I think they recognized a need for a playmaking wide receiver opposite Garrett Wilson, or somebody that could go over the middle in the slot and win one-on-one matchups, whereas the receivers you have right now, while they're good, they're limited. Corey Davis, you obviously worry about him being on the field first off, and then he's had issues dropping the football. Same kind of thing for Allen Lazard. He's had some issues with drops as well. Not the best route runner either. And then you have McCole Hardman, who's got the speed. He's a good gadget guy, an upgrade over Berrios. But is he, a number 2 or a number 3 wide receiver? Probably not. So who's that other guy other than Garrett Wilson? You can tell me the tight ends. I like Conklin as a good check down, a good security blanket. But none of these guys are, number 2 wide receivers. And so am I going into a win-now season putting all my hopes on Corey Davis if I have an option to get better at that position? And so, that's where the conversations with Odell were happening, where you could take that $8.5 or whatever it is $1 million that Corey Davis is owed and put that towards an upgrade, and it makes sense. The receivers that have been available probably doesn't make much sense. But now you're talking DeAndre Hopkins. First, does he want to be here? You know, does he want to come to the Jets, play with Aaron Rodgers? You know, is he going to be a guy that's going to buy into the team concept, or does he just want to get paid and get his targets? So that's something you got to figure out. He definitely comes with some red flags, just as far as being a guy who's been known to be a little bit more selfish and kind of want the football. You know, he's been suspended, I think it was 2 years ago, for PEDs. So it's not like he doesn't come with some red flags, but certainly a dynamic receiver that a couple years ago, you know, everybody said was in the top 5. And then another guy who's still, no question, in the top 5, you know, Davante Adams. If you have a chance to somehow bring this guy to New York, and I'm not expecting it to happen anytime soon, but at some point he's going to get traded from the Raiders. You know, part of the reason I think he was excited to go there initially was to play with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is no longer there. Now you sign Jimmy G. There's an issue with his contract. It could potentially still get voided. So all these things that are going on, he's already hinted at not being too happy with the front office and with ownership and things like that. So why wouldn't it make sense for the New York Jets to be involved with this when it eventually happens? Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, you know, before training camp or even before the deadline. There's a good chance, you know, this is something that maybe happens next offseason. But if you're starting to see all those signs are there where this is a player that isn't happy, it's something to definitely monitor, especially if the Raiders get off to a bad start, because this is a true #1 wide receiver. He knows your offense. He knows your quarterback. He knows the system. He's thrived in it. Now, would he be okay with another alpha like Garrett Wilson being here? You know, something he really hasn't had before with the Packers. He's always kind of been that guy. So, you know, would he be okay with somebody else like Garrett Wilson to share the spotlight with? Obviously something that you'd have to figure out. But what a great problem that would be to have. Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson, now you're talking. And so, for me, like, the whole path potentially to a Super Bowl, it goes through the Chiefs and possibly the Bengals and possibly the Bills. Right, so if you want to get through those teams, those quarterbacks, and those offenses, you've got to be able to match it, or you've got to be able to stop it. Now, I have some faith in the Jets defense to stop it, but I'm also a little bit nervous because second half of last year, teams, you know, stopped going after Sauce so much, stopped targeting DJ Reed as much, and it was a lot more going after the linebackers and safeties and getting rid of the ball quick and controlling time of possession, something that the Jets are obviously going to be looking to do to opposing teams this upcoming year. So it's going to be a chess match, but if you could have that another weapon, just that one more weapon opposite Garrett Wilson, where even if the ground game is working and Breece Hall is healthy, you have those two guys on the outside or in the slot that could beat you any which way. What a dynamic offense that could potentially be. So I'm all about it. If you could get it done, you got to do it. As far as draft compensation, I don't know exactly what it would take. They obviously don't have the second-round pick for next year, which could become a first from the Rodgers trade. But whatever future picks you potentially have to give up, if you can make that happen, you go do it. I still, you know, try to bring in Hopkins. You just get a read on what he's looking for, how much money he wants, and just where his head is at. Otherwise, you kind of wait and you see how things play out the rest of the offseason. There's going to be more guys that become available, but I'm still very adamant that the New York Jets need one more weapon. Talk to you guys later.